Hey everybody, we are outside in the best part of the June Gloom Studio that Marisol has, working outdoors. And what are you working on today?
We are working on Toothless. The new live action movie just came out, and the epic universe world of it,
The
which is the
Isle of
Isle of
Berk.
Berk,
Yep.
is now open. And I am like really excited about getting to go and meeting Toothless himself. This is actually going to be a gift, and I will probably end up making a second one. This is the tiniest piece. It's kind of lived in my head for a long time. And there's something just really satisfying about seeing a piece that has lived in my head for a long time to finally see it come to be. It's just really satisfying.
Yeah.
And we thought it would be a good time for us to just check in and talk about what we've been doing. How many months has it been?
6 months. We've been doing this channel for 6 months and your stained glass business for about 6 months, just a little bit longer than that. And I switched travel companies about 6 months ago. So 6 months is kind of a keynote for several of the things we've been doing.
Because sometimes it can feel like you're getting nowhere. And it's good to be able to look back and see like, oh no, we've actually done some pretty cool stuff.
You've had a couple markets. That's been a big part, is going and doing artisan markets.
It's been fun learning about how to set up an artisan market, how to, attract customers, how to talk to customers. I'm not someone who's really good at, doing sales, but I love talking about glass and art. So it's been fun trying to figure out like how to talk to people in a way that's comfortable and still lets me share what I do. So if your kind of business is something that, includes commissions or custom work, make sure you focus on that on your platforms, whatever they are, whether it's a market or your website or your Instagram.
But then you also have like an Art Nouveau piece going over a fireplace in a home, going from an animated character to Art Nouveau home installation are two completely different things, but they both came out of the same market. And part of why they came out of the same market is because, and I think this is something for people to do if they're doing commission work or they're in the art world, is have different things to show off if you're at a market. I mean, maybe you have your bread and butter, maybe you have your primary thing or the thing you like to do the most, but if all you had visible at the market were these kind of art home installation pieces, the person who wanted the sloth from Zootopia probably wouldn't have thought you were the person to do it.
Yeah, well,
but they saw that
they
you
saw
had sadness from Inside Out.
And they asked
and
you
thought,
do other characters.
Well, you do characters apparently, in addition to these other types of projects.
And then we had our address sign with the numbers.
Yep, we had our home
address.
And
the person who saw that was the one who commissioned the window. And the satisfying part as an artist for me is that I get to do different styles of things, different size projects that I can finish in 1 or 2 days and projects that take a month.
Yeah.
And as someone who gets bored very easily and who needs to do different things, it's really nice. So it's been like a nice feedback to get work that is not only, cute little artsy pop stuff, but also structural, like architectural pieces. And it's just nice to get to do all of it.
So what are you doing right now? What is the part of the process?
Right now, I am tacking this in place. I've already mapped it out and pinned it in place. So right now I'm just doing little bits of solder around it to put, just to keep it in place before I solder all of the lines together. The copper that you see, if you're not familiar with stained glass, is copper foil. So it's a real copper tape that we put around the edge of each piece of glass. And then varnish it so it's nice and flat against the glass. And that's what the solder adheres to when it's melted. Yeah, this still has a long way to go because it still needs to be soldered on both sides. We need to add an edge to it. We need to patina it, polish it. So yeah, he still's got a long way to go, but he's worth it. But you have also had your own tent at events.
We have these two home businesses, and they are very different. Talk a lot when we set up our tents about like traffic flow around and how people will be drawn in, and just advertise that I do free Disney travel planning, that I help do these, put trips together, but everything I do is free. So it's just a free service with an expert. So it's a different kind of a conversation. You know, she'll have these gorgeous art pieces to kind of draw people in, and I have the word free really large on a sign to try to draw people in. When I'm trying to do my tents, it's a little bit more about making sure that I can have conversations with people so they understand my expertise, because I can't show them my expertise at the front of the tent. The person came in and immediately knew, all right, this person is an expert at stained glass and they work in a style that I want to hire them. So it's different. It's a little bit more of a convincing people of the expertise, convincing people of the benefit of having an expert. We spent a lot of time with her tent and with my tent talking about how people would be drawn in. Then once they're in, what are we doing with them? Are we talking to them? Are we showing them something? What's keeping them talking? What's keeping them looking? And if you have your own small businesses and your own projects you're working on, your own products, whether they're service projects or physical products like this in front of you, you need to think about what's going to make someone stop, what's going to make someone stay, what's going to convince them that whatever you're offering is better than they would get somewhere else. So what do you have to do that? Is that the right wording on a sign? Is that the right phrase in a sales pitch? Is that the right pieces from your collection of art put center stage at the front, angled the right way toward a walkway to get someone to stop and look? We can't tell you what that is, only you're going to know what that is. But if you're just thinking, great, I'm going to have a tent at this event, I'll have a tent, I'll have a table, and I'm going to bring my products. You need to think about it harder than that. Don't be afraid to change what you're doing in the middle of it. If it's not working, don't just say, well, this was a bad plan for the day. No, if you still got hours at that event, change it right away. Do it immediately. It'll make a huge difference. Keep your eyes open, watch what people are doing, watch how people's eyes move, listen to the conversations, and note if someone walks away, when did they walk away? Where part of the conversation did they just kind of lose interest? What part of the racks of displays didn't get their attention and made their eyes wander to whatever the next tent had?
I had an item on that last market that everyone would compliment as they would walk by, but it wasn't selling.
Yep.
So when we went, luckily it was a 2-day event, so we had a chance to kind of go home and think about, why do you think it didn't sell? Everybody seemed to like it. Everyone pointed at it, and we made some adjustments. And the next day, we almost sold out of them.
Yep.
So, yeah, just learn, take the data, and try.
If something's not working and you're confident in it, you don't have to just say, well, I guess that was a bad idea. Ring it out a little bit harder. Move things around. Change some things. If you really think what you have is good, don't take one stab at it. You've got to be willing to move it around a little bit.
Yeah.
And see, not just physically around like in a tent, but just as a metaphor for it. Just no, if you're convinced your product is good, or a particular product or service is good, and it doesn't sell, it might be the product, it might be the service, it may very well be those things.
Yeah.
But before you get all the way to declaring that this product is bad or this service is bad or I need to move on to something else, maybe the way it's being shown isn't working. Maybe the way it's being advertised isn't working. Maybe any number of things isn't quite working. Maybe the product is great. Don't give up on it. But like the first day, it didn't sell. And the second day, it sold so much that it paid for the space at the event on its own. That's looking good over there.
Yeah.
Just trying to get those in the right spot before you
Well,
put melted metal
because
on
the solder
them.
will be on top of the melted
Foil.
on top of the foil. It's almost unnoticeable, but here there's like a little step where the tape meets.
Okay.
And I trim it so you can't see it. So it's just one smooth line. The less tape you have, the smoother your solder will be. And it's very annoying but it makes it look so much better.
If you haven't checked out, we do have an Etsy shop. We have 2 Etsy shops, one for her stained glass and one that I use to make I refer to them as Disney souvenirs I couldn't find in the stores. Like I wanted a shirt that looked or said this and I couldn't find it, so I made my own.
Because that store just came out of your love of terrible, terrible puns.
I mean, it was almost like the first items I created, whether they're specifically about it or not, they're almost all inspired by Jungle Cruise skippers, basically. So I think it's important for all of you to click subscribe. We would love to keep you around and seeing the different stuff we're working on. We post lots of videos about the Disney stuff. We post lots of videos about our own personal Disney travel and about the stained glass stuff and about all the other things we're doing. But we do also post videos like this where we are talking about the business. We're talking about running a YouTube channel and kind of the process of all of this. So hopefully if you are all doing your own thing, you can learn from it. And we want to have you subscribe, not just because we want subscribers, but because we want you to comment and chat with us and just kind of be a part of it.
Follow me on Instagram. I share a lot of, most of my stuff there and my process on making some of these pieces. So thanks for following, and we'll see you again soon.
And by the magic of film, we are able to go from literally her soldering a hip joint on Toothless to snapping our fingers, and suddenly we have a finished product. So there it is.